It's time to set our intentions, set our self-care, and find our focus. This is Mindful Mondays with Saharah on KBLA Talk 1580.
And what a blessing to start this week with numerologist, astrologer, meditation teacher, yoga instructor, sound healer, and sound bath specialist, Saharah Ali. It's time for Mindful Mondays. Hi, Saharah.
Good morning, Dominique and the KBLA family. Welcome to Mindful Monday, where we get our minds right for the week by setting positive intentions to honor our mind and body through meditation, prayer, and affirmation as we step unapologetically into our week, being on purpose with our faith, truth, wisdom, and power. Today, I'd like to unpack the celestial influence of Virgo season, shifting for the next 29 days, supporting us to shake off the excessive indulgence of our Leo summer, opening the space for healthy habits, perfection, purity, and back to school. Virgo season calls for us to pay attention to our lives, to assess the consequence of our actions, most of all, filter critical judgments. Understanding beauty exists within imperfections, asking us to learn that flaws are not defects. We gain solace by appreciating small pleasures, releasing the need to overprocess, and frame things for usefulness and purpose while processing practicality. Our task is to activate the spiritual nature of Virgo, to feed our souls through introspection, leading us to service, aiding humanity, to embrace unification of mind and spirit. Most of all, practice true faith, trusting what we can't see or control. The upside is staying the path of compassion, knowing the fruit of any labor yields in God's time, not our time. So going forward, our Mindful Monday meditation, let's willingly surrender the need to hold on to judgment, to hold on to beliefs impeding humility. We gain strength and clarity when we unapologetically reframe how we feel about ourselves, opening our hearts to wholeness instead of the lies we tell ourselves about our worth. So let's inhale and center ourselves and ground ourselves and be in this moment. Be in this moment ready to embrace your light. Be in this moment to reframe the lies you tell yourself, the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Be in this time and space and know that you are co-creator of your reality. So just relax, just breathe, and be here now with me. Inhale, centering yourself, grounding yourself. And now exhale, ready to connect to divine wholeness. Find that light within yourself. Inhale with purpose, opening your mind to celebrate your divine birthright and all that comes with that. Exhale, stand gracefully in the power of self-love and compassion. Feel that for yourself. How are you loving yourself? How much compassion do you have for yourself? Inhale, calling your angels and ancestors to elevate your spirit, to elevate your soul, to be here now, and to transcend the illusions in front of you, especially as we witness all this chaos in this political season. Exhale, make a promise. Make a promise to be unapologetically progressive in the expression of personal truth, in the expression of self-love. Relax, just breathe, calm your spirit, surrender to your wholeness. Now inhale, taking the biggest breath you've had all morning. Hold in that breath, and in that breath, embrace your self-love, embrace your wholeness. And as you exhale, open yourself to receive our Mindful Monday affirmation for the week. Just breathe, calming your mind, calming your body, and listen with an open heart. Our mindful affirmation for the week. Today, I release self-judgment, celebrating my divine birthright, opening my heart and mind to the wholeness within me. Today, I release judgment, celebrating my divine birthright, opening my heart and mind to the wholeness within me. Today, give yourself permission to open your heart and mind, connecting to the wholeness within you, and celebrating your divine birthright by honoring yourself, celebrating yourself, and taking your power back from anything no longer serving your highest good. Thank you, Dominique, Tavis Smiley, Miles, and the 1580 KBLA family. Have an unapologetic and mindful week, opening your heart to your wholeness, celebrating your divine birthright.
Saharah Ali, I got to ask you, I was talking to another friend who's an astrologer who said it was amazing that any convention at all could be pulled off in the middle of this retrograde. But we're coming out of it this week, right?
Yeah, but we're still in the wobble. And the whole thing with the wobble, anything can happen. That we're still in an unconscious, subconscious dynamic of a retrograde.
Until
the middle of September, until like the 15th or the 16th.
The middle of September, you say? Okay.
Yeah. And so, because, the things have to settle. It's like, if you shoot something up in a bottle and it has sediment in it, it takes a minute for that sediment to settle or even to mix together. And so that's how Mercury retrograde, like all the things in Mercury retrograde, when Mercury goes direct, we're still in the issue of things settling. And so there's a lot of emotional displacement right now, and a lot of people are struggling with their self-worth and having a clear perspective. So in a Mercury wobble, the best thing to do, especially in Virgo season, is to get quiet, to meditate, and to lose the expectation of things that you've invested in to yield now. Like, that's the biggest complaint that I have going on right now. Is like, when is it going to happen? It's taking too long. I've been doing this and I've been doing that. Well, Mercury retrograde slows things down so that you can see the reality of it, so that you can reframe, so that you can rethink the choices you've made, and to really look and see, is this choice going to yield my expectations? And so we have to be patient right now because Mercury, Virgo is also ruled by Mercury, and it has this whole dynamic of critical thinking. And so in that critical thinking, the gift is discernment. So how willing are you to discern these choices that you've made and to really go within and ask yourself, is this my truth? Mm-hmm. Is this going to work for me? Is this my real value system? Because we come out of Leo season where it's all superficial, it's all flash and glamour and all of this vanity stuff. And now Virgo says, well, let's purify. Where's the truth in this? Where's the wholeness in this? Where's the integrity in this? And that's one thing that Virgo rules is integrity. Where is the integrity in this?
Got it.
And it's most unfortunate, the opposite of Virgo is Pisces. So we're still dealing with the lies we tell ourselves and the illusions that we allow ourselves to step into and then cry about the suffering because we lied to ourselves.
Got it. Saharah Ali, thank you for that update. As always, I appreciate you.
Thank you, and thank you, KBLA family. I appreciate all of you. Have a blessed week.
If you're trying to connect with Saharah for a sound bath, a reading, or some life counseling, some life coaching, call her assistant, Elise, at 213-628-9783, 213-628-9783, or go to SaharahAli.com. Zendaya, Beyonce, Keanu Reeves, Michael Jackson, Tavis Smiley. Those are just a few famous Virgos. We're talking reparations when we come forward with LA Civil Rights Department leader, Attorney Capri Maddox. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. Tavis is like George and Wheezy. He's moving on up. Last year, Tavis was number 45 on the Talkers Magazine list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. Wait for it. Wait for it. The 2024 list was recently released, and Tavis has jumped to number 33 on the list of the nation's most important talkers, making him the highest-ranked African American on the coveted roster. Congratulations to Tavis Smiley from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580. We've got you black.
What if the conversation about menopause and bladder leaks didn't have to be a secret? Always Discreet helps you embrace this new chapter with confidence, offering a bladder leak solution that keeps you worry-free. Its rapid dry core quickly locks away even the biggest gushes with up to 0 leaks, 0 wet feel, and 0 odor. So you can jump, dance, sneeze, and laugh uninterrupted. Everyday protection for every level of leak. We've got you. Always. Try Always Discreet today.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
After you use Bounce Dryer sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll put a sheet on it every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Put a sheet on it. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Put a sheet on it. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
Lowe's knows saving pros time and money means getting the job done easier. Right now, get up to 50% off select composite decking and railing. Plus, get an extra 5% off every day on eligible purchases when you use your Lowe's business credit card. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location while supplies last. 5% off or subject to credit approval. Exclusions and terms apply. See store at lowes.com/credit for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We must understand the politics of our community, and we must know what part politics play in our lives.
Questions about black voters, their disengagement, lack of information, and support or lack thereof for Democratic candidates have once again taken center stage as Democrats, Republicans, and independent candidates compete for this critical voting bloc. Will black voters abandon Democrats in this election, move historic numbers of votes toward the Republican nominee, or will they continue a decades-long trend of overperforming for Democratic candidates up and down the ballot? The stakes have never been higher for black America. Tune in to KBLA's new show, The Black Pack, hosted by veteran political strategist Adrian Shropshire, every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. for a breakdown of the issues, rhetoric, polling, and more this election year. It's The Black Pack with Adrian Shropshire, Fridays from 4 to 6 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
The conversation never stops around here. That's what we do, KBLA Talk 1580. And you're always invited in at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm excited to have live in the studio and on the YouTube at KBLA 1580, the leader of the LA Civil Rights Department. She's an attorney. She's actually, technically, the title is Executive Director of the LA Civil Rights Department. She's the first executive director of, the full name of it is Los Angeles Civil plus Human Rights and Equity Department. Mayor Eric Garcetti appointed Attorney Maddox to the position in 2020, and she is continuing under the leadership of LA Mayor Karen Bass. Her department is huge, encompasses quite a few different programs, commissions, and charges, and one of those is reparations. Good morning, Attorney Capri Maddox.
Good morning, Dominique. It's so great to see you. We're going to ask for you to put on your LA for Everyone pin. We love San Francisco, but you are here in Los Angeles.
This is so funny. This woman actually, and all of the people complaining in the YouTube chat and on my text messages, you know who you are, will be happy to see that I now have an LA pin that she is forcing me to put on my San Francisco 49ers jersey.
So I'm very, very grateful for the conversations this morning and appreciate the opportunity to fight hate, discrimination, and inequity on all fronts, Dominique. Doing this work for our beloved Mayor Karen Bass, we want to lift Los Angeles and Los Angeles for everyone. But a big part of that is addressing the harms from the past. You can't move forward and say we want to unite it Los Angeles with harmony unless you deal with some of the past harms.
Right. And that's where, that's really where the conversation about reparations comes in. So for people not familiar, LA Civil Rights, aside from all of their other things, I think the Commission on the Status of Women, is that under you?
Right.
What other commissions?
We have the Commission on Status Women, Human Relations Commission, the Transgender Advisory Council, the Civil Rights Commission. It brings cases against folks who violate your civil rights in the areas of commerce, education, employment, and housing in the private sector. And then, of course, we have reparations. And when you think about how this department was set up, I was given free run under the previous Mayor Garcetti to set this up how I wished. And one thing is, we wanted to make sure there was no wrong door to fighting hate, discrimination, and injustices in the city of Los Angeles. And by the way, we can bring cases against folks in the private sector. As I mentioned, we had a big case against Smart and Final, where an African-American man was unlawfully faced with a bag check policy. When you think about those discriminatory practices, some people think that is just life in Los Angeles or life anywhere because your skin color oftentimes speaks before you do, even in the private sector stores and businesses we frequent. But I just want you to know that we make sure that we fight hate on the offensive and defensive in Los Angeles.
Yeah, so under your umbrella is the Reparations Commission for the City of Los Angeles, which is distinct from the state or county efforts.
Right. And we are really excited about the whole of government coming in on this issue. This was something that we had a previous chief of staff, Andre Hurton, who really made the push for Los Angeles to have a reparations advisory commission. And then, of course, our council members, Councilmember Marquise Harris Dawson, Councilmember Price, as well as our former council member, Mark Ridley Thomas, wanted this to be a go and put amazing members on this team. And when you think about the commission is led by by Michael Lawson. Some of you know him as an attorney, ambassador, but definitely someone who has done so much for Los Angeles, and particularly the Los Angeles Urban League, where he just retired from.
Right. So if you want to learn more about the department, it's civilandhumanrights.lacity.gov or laisforeveryone.com. But this week is a big week for your Reparations Commission, because we will get to hear, it's an unveiling of their findings, right?
Exactly, Dominique. We couldn't be more grateful for the members of the community who have stepped up over the last 18 months to fill out our surveys, to talk about the Black experience. People wonder, why is Los Angeles doing something about reparations? Didn't all that stuff happen in the South, right? And we know that if you came to California, you would be... if you came to California as, air quote, a runaway slave, you were sent back to, your slave handlers. And there are people who actually came to Los Angeles with their slaves under almost like a don't ask, don't tell kind of mindset here in the city, what is now the city of Los Angeles. So we want to be intentional to say, not only to speak up for those things from the past, it's important for us to know that Los Angeles still deals with the remnants of slavery to this day. And what does that mean, right? There are discriminatory practices in policing. We had redlining. We had a number of things that continue to happen to the African American population that may not have happened if it weren't for slavery, for us not being dehumanized for all those hundreds of years.
So, we got 2 minutes here before news, traffic, and sports. We'll continue on the other side. But just the 2-minute version of what this information gathering and study consisted of.
So for 18 months, Dominique, we were all over Los Angeles. There's jazz festivals and a number of events to actually community events. We even advertised on KBLA to get people to turn in surveys on the Black experience in Los Angeles and how these harms may have affected their families for life. When you think about the redlining, when you think about over-policing or police brutality that happens today, to make the nexus and the connection of how some of those harms, even in education, have impacted our families and our communities here in Los Angeles, and how the city could possibly right some of those wrongs.
So all that is happening. We'll find out more about that when we come forward. But there's an unveiling happening Tuesday.
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Exactly.
I will be there. Doors open at 5. The event starts at 5:30. It's Cal State Northridge, the University Student Union, 18111 Nordhoff Street. If you haven't been there, it's City of Los Angeles, but it's in the Valley, out at Cal State Northridge. And this is the unveiling of this groundbreaking reparations report, what to look for, and what will be happening tomorrow, and this panel discussion, which is part of it. All of that we'll cover when we come forward. You're welcome to chime in, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. We are KBLA Talk 1580, 40 acres and a mic.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to here with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Senator Cory Booker says the Biden administration is working to prevent escalation in the Middle East following an exchange of heavy fire between Israel and Hezbollah militants in Lebanon over the weekend. Vice President Kamala Harris and Minnesota Governor Tim Walz will be campaigning in southern Georgia this week, fresh off of last week's Democratic National Convention in Chicago, Illinois. Today marks a somber anniversary in Jacksonville, Florida. It was a year ago that 3 people were killed in a racially motivated shooting at a Dollar General store. The shooter committed suicide. A memorial was held yesterday where Mayor Donna Deegan spoke and said that she felt a personal responsibility that this horrific act of violence happened under her watch. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America N.A. Copyright 2024.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers continue to have the best record in Major League Baseball after Sunday's win over Tampa Bay. The Dodgers are 25 games over 500. They have a 3-game lead over Arizona in the NL West. The hard times continue for the Angels. They lost all 4 games in Toronto. The Angels will finish the season 0-7 against Toronto. The LA Sparks had a great opportunity Sunday to snap their 6-game losing streak, but they blew a 19-point lead in the fourth quarter at Dallas. The Sparks ended up losing by 3. They were outscored 40-18 in the fourth quarter. At 6-24, the Sparks have the WNBA's worst record. Florida A&M, the defending black college football national champion, held on for a 1-point win over Norfolk State. Florida A&M wins the SWAC MEAC Challenge. The annual classic between the two conferences kicks off the HBCU football season. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, man. Looks like Bobby needs a ride to the airport again.
Grab the keys.
Who's taking Auntie and her friends to the swap meet?
Grab the keys.
How about we drop these boxes off at Miss Johnson?
Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, you're all about getting things done. So do it all in a Chevy SUV. From the versatile Equinox and sporty Blazer to the roomy Traverse, our lineup of SUVs will carry you through every adventure. All you have to do is...
grab the keys.
That's how we do. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse Limited models. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Ugh, I've been feeling so sluggish and just kind of blah.
Been there. That's why I take Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites.
But I suppose they taste blah.
Actually, they taste delicious. It's an apple blueberry flavored center covered in a yogurt coating and is infused with probiotics to help support a healthy gut. They come 5 in a pouch. I just toss one in my bag and go.
Toss one in my bag?
Get your own.
New Align yogurt-coated probiotic fruit bites from the makers of the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Find them in the digestive care aisle.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
We do not, and we're talking right now with the executive director of LA Civil Rights. That's what we call it. for short. LA Civil Rights Department, led by Attorney Capri Maddox, houses the Advisory Commission on Reparations for the City of Los Angeles, and they will be unveiling their findings tomorrow at Cal State Northridge. I'll be there. And there's a Q&A. There's a sort of a presentation of facts, and then there is a panel discussion, right?
Yes. And we are excited about the opportunity for you to join us, Dominique. I couldn't be more grateful for you always giving a voice and a space here on Fridays in particular. We appreciate the continued conversation. We want to be intentional to let folks know we will be at Cal State Northridge tomorrow at 5:30, and we couldn't be more grateful for the leadership of Chair Michael Lawson as well as our Vice Chair Consa Jones-Muhammad. I should let you know that we have a total of 6 commissioners doing this work with us, and if you give me the privilege, I want to name them all.
Absolutely. We love Consa Jones-Muhammad. She's typically part of our Freedman Fridays on some level.
Yes, she's amazing, and she's been a reparationist from the way back. And for us we're not where we want to be, Dominique, but we're not where we used to be in this space. And Consa Jones-Muhammad is a big part of making that happen. But we have also Mark Wilson. We also have Mandalay Kaise, our very own Katrina Vanderway, and then, of course, our beloved Virgil Roberts, who served as a mentor to me and has a big fan base with and does a lot of work with ABLE, the African American Board Leadership Institute. So he has so many lives he's changed. But a wonderful, wonderful group of commissioners who lean in on a regular basis to lift a better Los Angeles in so many ways. But when it comes to reparation, we are here. Los Angeles is stepping up in this space, and we're excited about this study moving forward. Again, want to give another shout out to some of our elected officials here locally, especially those who serve in the state. When you think about the work that has happened with Steve Bradford, right? Thinking about the work that we've seen Reggie Jones Sawyer and Isaac Bryant, as well as Lola Smallwood Cuevas, all state elected leaders who are really intentional in this space, are a force multiplier for what needs to happen on the national stage and what we're starting to have happen locally. And another leader I just want to acknowledge is Holly Mitchell from LA County, who is making that push.
Second district supervisor.
That's right, my supervisor.
Doing mine as well, who's doing big things at the Democratic National Convention, I might add, along with the California delegation that you've mentioned. So these folks have been sorting through the data, and along with Cal State Northridge, of course, which was the academic partner for this, right?
Yes.
And so what we will be hearing, and maybe we'll get a couple little previews of it right now, is what you were able to ascertain about the impact of enslavement and the subsequent Jim Crow on the city of Los Angeles.
Right. And so when you think about this report, it'll be over 1,000 pages detailing about 115 recommendations. 600 people from the city of Los Angeles, they could be past or present Angelinos, to talk about their experience. We had a study, the Black LA experience, and we wanted to be intentional to get a sense of some of the harms of how discriminatory practices and the leftover pain from what slavery did to our communities and our people were going to impact Los Angeles and our Angelinos in a negative way. So when you think about it, we talked about redlining, right? The environmental hazards folks are experiencing. The racial terror, by the way, was far and beyond one of the number one complaints. When you think about community policing happening, it's something that people want to see, but in reviewing this document, we know that folks really felt slavery and police brutality and some of the negative impacts of slavery as it's tied to policing today. They do see a through line and a connection, and many folks know how the first police departments were created. And when you think about policing, it was actually in response to dealing with runaway slaves at the time. And so we want to be intentional to let folks know that is an issue. The second issue we heard the most of was tied to environmental hazards, particularly brownfields. And then the third thing that we thought was tied to city services and city needs, it was the fact that people can't get jobs in the city of Los Angeles to help build the middle class. And those complaints are things that we will unpack and have a discussion about tomorrow at Cal State Northridge.
So obviously we're gonna be getting the top lines for this 1,000-page report. What are we hoping is going to come out of that panel discussion?
Well, we want to continue the conversation and make sure we have even more information to present before we complete this project. I mean, we've been in on this work already 18 months, and we're only at phase 2 of 4 phases. And so we want to continue input from the community and understand what some of the solutions should and could be.
Okay, and it sounds like some of the resistance that you guys dealt with was similar to what I've heard from the California task force, which is people saying California's not a slave state. What does this have to do with us? So when you say racial terror and some of the other findings, that common complaints that you found within your research, can you get a little bit more detailed about that?
Well, at this time, we want to just say from the time period, I'll give you just a quick example. Between 1865 and 1968, 65% of those responding to our study said that they or their families had experienced police harassment, and 68% reported that they or their families were impacted by over-policing in the same time period. We want to also highlight that there are a number of issues happening today. I know, KBLA is no stranger to understanding and hearing the voice of what's happening with policing now in the city of Los Angeles. We have a whole show, led by Melina Abdullah, where this is not a drill, right? So this is an issue that continues to be a challenge. But when we think about where we had a number of folks, particularly those in Council District 8, right? Those were the number one. That was the number one area in the city of Los Angeles where we had survey respondents. And I want you to know that when people thought about being over-policed or facing police brutality in their family history, they were particularly keen to say between 1865 and 1968 was when it was at its height in Los Angeles, and they believe that is a direct result of us being dehumanized when you think about slavery.
Yeah, that makes sense. You draw the direct line. I mean, I think we still talk about that today at a lot of our, meetings, protests, and things that deal with the complete reimagining of impact. I want to also talk some about the recommendations, and I encourage everyone, if you have a chance to come out tomorrow, to come on out and join us, and we'll get a fuller sense of what is in this report, which is being released when.
So the full report, as you see it now, will be released in a few days. We wanted to make sure that you had an executive summary the executive summary, I should say, will be released in a few days. When we look at it tomorrow, we will actually have an idea of just an overview of what the executive summary has for us. And in the months to come, we will have a full report released on really some of the solutions. When you think about some solutions that we're able to probably come up with, is to think about helping folks with home ownership. That's
we'll delve into that stuff a little bit more when we come forward. But of course, if the full report is coming out in a couple months, the executive summary is imminent. It's even more reason to come and hear this report, because you may not get access to the full report immediately, and you'll have a chance to take notes and ask questions on tomorrow. More straight ahead on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelenos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
What if the conversation about menopause and bladder leaks didn't have to be a secret? Always Discreet helps you embrace this new chapter with confidence, offering a bladder leak solution that keeps you worry-free. Its rapid dry core quickly locks away even the biggest gushes with up to 0 leaks, 0 wet feel, and 0 odor, so you can jump, dance, sneeze, and laugh uninterrupted. Everyday protection for every level of leak. We've got you, always. Try Always Discreet today.
Support comes from Getty, presenting Memnon, a world premiere theatrical event under the stars. Memnon tells the tale of a powerful Ethiopian king who fights alongside Troy during the city's darkest hour. This epic Greek myth has been overlooked for over a millennium. Until now. Memnon is co-produced by the Classical Theater of Harlem, Thursdays through Saturdays this September at the Getty Villa Museum. Tickets are available now at getty.edu.
With the incredibly spacious 3-row Chevy Traverse, you can change...
Let's just meet at the concert.
...into...
Why don't I pick all you guys up on the way?
The advanced safety-engineered Chevy Blazer EV lets you turn... You think we should turn back? Into...
Full steam ahead.
And with the affordable Equinox EV...
Keep an eye out for the next charger, kids.
Becomes...
Get comfortable, kids. We'll be home in 4 hours.
For all kinds of summer adventures, Chevy's got you.
Well-qualified buyers get 1.9% APR on all 2024 Silverado 1500 Blazer EV, Equinox, Trailblazer, Blazer, and Colorado models. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 13.5%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 9/3/24.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
So she's worked in the city attorney's office. She has worked in the housing department, and she is an attorney, currently executive director of the LA Civil Rights Department. Attorney Capri Maddox is with me. Certainly you have worked in enough areas of the city to see some of these things firsthand. Now your department is unveiling the work of the Reparations Advisory Commission so far, the first 18 months. And we'll see that tomorrow at Cal State Northridge, 5:30. All are welcome. Roll up. And some of the concepts that we're barely touching on, we'll go a little bit more in depth on tomorrow. But I want to at least get sort of an overview of some of the types of recommendations that are coming out of this data. So can you give us just a few sort of top lines of what you're looking at as far as what should come out of this?
Right. When you think about the opportunities we have here is to talk and unpack the vestiges of slavery and like what that meant and how that was a harm to our communities. And I actually want to tell you racial terror was another area covered. When you think about mental and physical harm and neglect, and of course we have recommendations to all to deal with some of these horrors, racism and the environmental capacities. When you think about the environment and infrastructure, these are challenges we still have today. I mean, many folks know where our freeways were built and how they cut through our neighborhoods. Definitely the unjust legal system. I worked for years in the city attorney's office, and you talk about, seeing things firsthand. And by the way, I almost wish I were still there. Because there were some things we were able to accomplish, like the foster care diversion program and other things. But when we look at housing, segregation, still an issue, and definitely people not being able to find housing. On a personal note, housing segregation was something that I know when I filled out the survey bothered me the most. When you think about it, when you have folks living in, mid-city or areas where they weren't allowed to live years ago because of racial covenants, those folks are paying more for their mortgages and taxes today than their counterparts, particularly their Caucasian counterparts who had that family home for 70, 80, 100 years.
Right. So I see these two recommendations. It says legislate Black community historic preservations and land returns. It's directly addressing that.
Exactly. And we are very, very grateful to see that actually happen in LA County in some capacity. When you think about Bruce's Beach, stolen labor and hindering opportunities in employment, and then, of course, separate and unequal education. The study really unpacks so many things, and we want to be intentional to allow the community to come forward to hear some of the recommendations and some of the harms. And of course, one that was big for a long time was I think we've worked really, really hard to fight against is the disenfranchisement in politics. And really also, and of course, we saw how powerful some of our leaders from our community have been. When you think about our elected officials, of course, I have the privilege of working for an African-American female mayor who's doing a wonderful job, Mayor Karen Bass. But also, I want to talk about just a couple more concerns that folks have, the wealth gap, some of the harms to the Black family, control over our cultural and intellectual assets. I know that we had a panel recently with Langston Bar Association and Virgil Roberts and others. When we think about our intellectual property, that's something that's been an issue that's another wrong for far too long. But the general recommendations will be presented tomorrow, and we'll have an opportunity for folks to see the executive summary and to weigh in on the next steps, because we're not where we want to be, but we're not where we used to be. We are moving this forward, and we will make sure that LA Civil Rights stands in this space.
So what we're getting from the report, we're getting what were the issues and areas that are of most concern to Angelenos, but then what the survey respondents themselves recommend is what we're hearing.
Yes.
Right? And so I'm imagining as time goes forward, we'll see what the city is willing and able to adopt, and or state is willing, counties are willing and able to adopt, that come out of, just as we've seen with the California task force, the study drops, we have to read it, process it, look at these recommendations, and then they have to somehow be codified into law or policy.
Right. And tomorrow we will have the executive summary prepared for consumption. You can find it at laisforeveryone.com tomorrow, or you can come join us at Cal State Northridge. We really appreciate folks coming out and showing up. I will tell you this, do not leave us hanging here. We need our community members to stand with us. If this is an issue that we are pushing forward, we need participation. So when we reach out and we need your support, definitely think about standing with us. And tomorrow you'll have that opportunity at Cal State Northridge at 5:30, and our very own Dominique DiPrima will be there with us.
Absolutely, I will. I think one of the reasons that people drag their feet when it comes to participating on reparations, city, county, state, it's because Black people just do not believe this is going to happen. I think the vast majority. And I understand why, but I think, we have to move past this. I remember these conversations when we were talking about electing Barack Obama. We're not going to have a Black president in our lifetime. Why are you wasting time on that pipe dream? And I hear similar, and the reason I know that is because since we do Freedman Fridays every Friday, I have Black people that come up to me and say, you should spend your time on something that's a little bit more realistic. And I think these things become realistic when we show up and when we hit critical mass. And that has to be maybe taking a risk, going out on a limb and saying, when we fight, we win. And fighting for this.
Right. And I went to Ghana just about a year or so ago, and I'm just telling you, understanding what happened to our people from the day they were taken from their families to now, there is a connection, there is a nexus, and we need to fight. And as you say, Dominique, when we fight, we win.
It's funny you would say, make the connection to Ghana, because I grew up as an activist, always believed in reparations, but and other things, forms of civil rights, but it really does hit home in a different way when you go there, doesn't it?
Yes. And just to even understand that the victims of slavery weren't only the people who made it to America. Of course, those were lost in the Middle Passage, but just to know I was walking on the streets where people's ancestors came home from work and their sons and their daughters and their spouses were gone, and that was happening to all of their neighbors, and to never ever see them again is something that folks are afraid of. And there's some people actually in Ghana, I told them, I'm so proud, we're going to work on reparations, and I had some voices tell me, don't do that, maybe they'll come back and do it again. So the terror is still there, and we know that we are moving forward in this fight because it is a righteous fight, and it's something that we need to stand for, because we cannot say our lives matter and to allow people to victimize us for 16 generations and to not step up to say not to say and address that harm.
Yeah, that's to say that we need to repair the harm. Well, all the Rams and the Raiders and whoever else are happy that you, the Dodgers, have showed up with this LA pin for me this morning. Attorney Capri Maddox, if we want to find out more or register in advance, you don't have to, right? You can just roll up to Cal State Northridge.
Yes.
But if you want to register in advance, they can.
LAisforeveryone.com.
LAisforeveryone.com. You can find a lot of other stuff, good stuff there as well. LAisforeveryone.com. Right. Thank you for coming in, and thank you for the great work you're doing with the Civil Rights Department.
Thank you.
Glad to have a Civil Rights Department. Yes. Yep, we're talking national politics when we come forward. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Moore. Now here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Senator Cory Booker says the Biden administration is working to prevent escalation in the Middle East following an exchange of heavy fire between Israel and